All right, welcome to this is episode 100 or 101. I don't know. I'm going to have to do a better job at tracking them. Well, no, hopefully we won't be here and I won't have to. But anyway, it's Friday, August 30th, 2024, and I'm recording again because I believe we have some post-worthy information. So this will be quick. I'm only going to go over a few articles, but as usual, if you go to the blog, all the articles are there and more, right? Because for time's sake, plus I'm actually cutting it short. I have something to do at the top of the hour. All right, so, but first let me do the stuff some people don't like. So skip ahead till about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. All right, this is my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there's also a blog, myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. There's video content. Rumble is where the video is hosted. And you might want to go to this blog because I stumbled across an interview with Atwana 20, and he was talking about the money laundering that Iraq still does. So, very interesting. The video's there, and then, I go and I translate the transcription and put it there. But anyway, Spotify.com has video and audio content. RSS.com has a transcript in case you find it hard to understand me and you'd like to read along. And I'm forgetting something. YouTube. If you're listening to this on YouTube, because in effect, that's what you're doing, you're listening, look below the box that appears to be a video, look for the word more. Click on the word more, another box opens. That is where the link to the blog is, which is where all the information is in one lovely place. All right, so there is the title of this blog post. The Central Bank of Iraq announces the results of its visit to New York. Yeah. All right. But I had to shorten the title. So the full title of the the article is The Central Bank of Iraq announces the results of its visit to New York. A high-level delegation negotiated with the US Treasury. Okay, so there is another picture of the CBI building looking very much completed, right? So I don't know if that's computer generated or what, or because actually the work that needs to be done is at the very tip top, and you see that picture is like at a different angle. But anyway, so the Central Bank of Iraq announced the results of the visit. So it says which lasted from 26 to 29. That's my phone. I apologize. My phone will be going off. All right. And the window's open. It's going to be noisy. It's Friday before a holiday. Yeah. I'm not a professional, so no, I don't have a studio where I can be soundproof and all that. Nope. Just regular old me. Okay, so it says which lasted from August 26th to the 29th. So that reads like it's over, right? Yeah, so maybe they're gone. Who knows? But the Central Bank of Iraq confirmed in a statement that a high-level negotiating delegation headed by Governor Ali Mohsen held a series of intensive meetings in New York City, USA, which included discussions with the US Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve Bank. I would love to know who is representing the Federal Reserve Bank. I bet you it's the one in New York. But whatever. In addition to meetings with a group of companies, Visa, Mastercard, and MoneyGram, as well as banks, Citibank and JP Morgan, as well as international auditing firms, KPMG, Ernst & Young, and K2i and Oliver Wyman. So Yeah, some serious people were there. Those were some serious meetings. He added the participants, sorry, the participants in the meetings praised the major transformations accomplished by the Central Bank of Iraq, which represent an unprecedented achievement at the country level, as the bank has achieved remarkable progress in the procedures for monitoring foreign transfers and cash sales of the US dollar, which has led to improving systems, policies, and procedures in accordance with international and local standards, enhancing transparency in covering foreign trade and providing protection for the banking and financial sector from the risks of money laundering, terrorist financing, and financial crimes. Now, that's all wonderful and we're warm and fuzzy, but he announced that a meeting will be held between the officials of the Central Bank of Iraq and its international partners by the end of this year. Well, we're less than 90 days away from the end of the year, right? But anyway, so it will be regarding the major transformation and ending the work of the electronic platform for foreign transfers and replacing it with direct banking relations between Iraqi banks and the network of international correspondent banks. I like that. Network of international correspondent banks. Will we have access to those banks? According to the plan set by this bank and implemented internationally, which will allow the Central Bank of Iraq and the Federal Reserve Bank, which is our Federal Reserve, right, to exercise their supervisory roles away from executive procedures, as this transformation will have important repercussions on the stability, fluidity, and transparency of the country's foreign trade financing operations, indicating that it aims to achieve the required stability in exchange rates. Yeah, we had to go through all that to get there, which in turn will lead to enhancing the efficiency of the financial system in Iraq. So see, they are talking about the exchange rate, but is it the conversation that we want them to have? Is it saying, okay, when can we change our exchange rate, right? So I'm very happy with this article. It seems they got some stuff done because look at this. And actually, this one came out first. The central bank announces the participation of 13 Iraqi banks in the external transfer. So now all those people complaining about you've been, banning and blocking, and it's hurting the Iraqi banks and favoring the Jordanian banks. So it looks like they're back able to use the other currencies again. It says this announcement came after reaching an agreement on the mechanisms for regulating these operations, as it will include dealing in the euro, Chinese yuan, Indian rupee, and Emirati dirham. Determining the scope of work of the international auditing company, Ernst & Young, which will review the transfer operations to ensure their safety and compliance with international standards. This step is a reflection of the Central Bank of Iraq's commitment to achieve the highest levels of transparency and security in all foreign transfer operations and enhancing confidence in the Iraqi financial system. And there's one more paragraph, but we're at 9 minutes. Well, I'll just read it. The statement indicated that the initiative came within the framework of the ongoing efforts of the Central Bank of Iraq to support economic growth and expand the horizons of international cooperation with global markets. Yes, that's what we want. Expansion of interaction with international cooperation of global markets. So if you still have people who doubt, you may want to show them this article, the first one especially. And it doesn't say we're going to the bank tomorrow, but it says they've made significant progress. It shows international companies they're aligned with: Visa, Mastercard, MoneyGram, Citibank, JP Morgan. So yeah, this is another one. Matter of fact, that's why I need to mark this episode. Because when people ask me, I have a non-believer, what can I show them? Then I'll know. It'll be easier to find, I should say. All right, anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. I apologize. So this was interesting. Parliamentary Finance Committee reveals the truth about government spending exceeding the red lines. And I don't know if I talked about this on yesterday's. I lose track, so I apologize. But it says, what about cash? Cash. What about cash? So, Parliamentary Finance Committee revealed yesterday, Wednesday, actually 2 days ago. Then I probably did talk about this. Sorry. The truth about government spending from the financial budget exceeding the red lines by spending more money than its allocated amount. And just really quickly, I'm going to say, basically, there is no government spending so far, and no money has been spent according to what was stated in the budget law for this year. So, of course, there's no overspending because there hasn't been any spending, right? I think that's hilarious. That's what that article is saying. All right. So here, why doesn't Iraq rely on the World Bank to overcome the dollar crisis? An expert answers. And basically, this is a good article to read. It shows how the World Bank works and how they how they offer loans, but the loans to the countries entangle them, right, in strings. You get the money, but there's strings attached. So, and I like this article because it mentions the UN. The UN is heavily aligned with this company right here, IFC, which is tied to the World Bank. So this International Finance Corporation, they abbreviate IFC. They're another segment of the World Bank that also gives loans to Iraq. And it's for the first time, as long as I've been listening to this group of these brothers, they never mentioned the UN before as part of the holdup, but this year they have been mentioning the UN, and I thought it was very interesting that the UN is mentioned in this article several times too. All right, here, I think this is funny. A famous pessimistic economist says, Iraq is suffering from financial difficulties and government resorts to borrowing from banks. So, did they really have to say this economist was pessimistic? They just couldn't say they were famous. But I guess they're saying this is going to sound negative, but this person is a pessimist, right? But that was interesting, so you might want to read that. This is very interesting in my opinion, but I know not everyone's going to read it because it was written by Dr. Akil Muhammadawi. So he's a doctor of economics. So you know what that means. It's totally boring. It's jam-packed with big words that we don't see often in our regular day's activities. But let's see, how can I sum this up? Well, the title of this is Methodology for Evaluating Investment Activity and the Attractiveness of Agricultural Investment in Iraq. Okay. So, and then also what is another thing that's interesting, there's a lady it's a female politician. She's been in parliament for at least 6 years. She just called for an investigation into this very thing. So I thought it was interesting that then they ran this. Yeah. So I know not everyone's going to read that, but it's there in case you're one of the people like myself that like to read about stuff like that. Because it really does show you, when you go to school, they teach you the theory of how something works, right? But when you read about the real life, and you can see things that happen in the real world, it helps come together, and then you have a better understanding for how the macro economy affects in a big picture. I know you're too busy and you don't have time to worry about stuff like that. Okay, I only saw this in one place. I still have only seen this in one place, but it's Friday and not every site updates. But it says a faction made good on their threats. Remember the group Al-Nujabi, I think is there, and they were like, okay, time's up. We wanted a date for when you were going to leave, and we didn't get a date, so all bets are off. Remember those people? So here, it seems they have taken action, and the Pentagon says they will respond in whatever fashion needed, but I don't know if this is old or come Saturday or later today, everything will pop, when everything updates, maybe more places will have it. But yeah, so, and it was a base in Syria, one of our bases in Syria. And so far, no reports of anyone getting hurt, which is great. All right, this is very interesting. So, the, what is he? Secretary General of OPEC showed up in Iraq yesterday or the day before. And I was like, something's going on. And so sure enough, then an article came out saying, oh, Iraq commits to submitting to the guidelines or whatever of what they promised to produce, the oil production that was promised. Because all the OPEC members get together and they go, okay, you can produce this many millions of barrels. You can produce this many. But then they all go and they produce whatever they want, right? And Iraq got caught. So later, Iraq called off 1 million barrel shipment in a bid to match OPEC regulations. So there was one ship already left. They told that ship to come back, and they canceled 2 others. So it just seems so unfair, because that's how they make their money. So you're telling me I can't sell my oil, but Iran is over here, who's on sanctions, selling their oil to Russia? But so we'll see how long it lasts. Yeah. Anyway, so that's interesting. If someone wants to read that, I think we're almost done here. Yeah, that we'll skip that because I really need to wrap this up. Oh, here. So the very last thing at the end, it's the last thing I posted at the bottom. It's an interview, and it's called "Has the Iraqi Government Controlled Money Laundering?" And you see, look at that picture. But if you come here, you can click play. Well, that's in Arabic, of course, right? But like I tell you guys, I like to see the images, and yeah, you can see the money. See how they band them together. The dinar, they band it together like that, and then people come make withdrawals, and that's how they get wads of dinar. All right, so the first line, money laundering is being carried out at full speed. And he even says it's influential political parties that are doing it. They have shops and ministries and banks that they know they can get it through. So there should be activities that limit money laundering, and that would serve the Iraqi economy in general and the issue of the exchange rate in particular. So that's what I wanted you to hear. They are very much discussing the exchange rate between the dollar and the dinar, the parallel market exchange rate. I just feel like we don't get to see it because it's on TV. When they put these videos out, if the video's not on YouTube, then I can't translate it. So I really do believe, there's some intel providers that have contact, boots on the ground, and they say, oh, my guy over there is telling me XYZ, but we don't ever see articles for it. Because remember, I only go by articles. I'm posting articles written in Iraq by Iraqi people, right? But that's why I like when I find things like this, because it confirms, as much as we can, it confirms that there is talk on TV about the exchange rate. Now, I'm still looking for lower denominations and, things like that. I still have not found those, but I am looking. But yeah, all right, so this is the blog for today. What did I say? Friday, August 30th. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the well wishes. And some people leave really smart comments trying to help me understand what I'm reading. I appreciate that. And have a great weekend wherever you're enjoying this content. If there's a join, follow, subscribe, whatever type of button like that, take whatever action is necessary to activate that. But first, accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Yeah, okay, so now I can say enjoy your weekend. And it's a long weekend here in America. Monday's Labor Day. But you know me, I just can't pull myself away from the articles. So if there's anything post-worthy, I will post it. But I don't post regularly. So that's why you should click those buttons or whatever. And if technology works like it's supposed to, when I update, you'll be notified. All right. So, yeah, thank you for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Spend some time telling the ones you love that you love them, or even showing them that you love them, including your four-legged ones. You'd be surprised how cruel some people are. It's like, why did you even buy the thing if you're just gonna mistreat it, right? Anyway, all right. I'm rambling now. I'm gonna end here. Thank you. Until next time.